All right, y'all. So I just did Nancy, but an at-home variation. So Nancy is 5 rounds for time. The classic one is 5 rounds for time. It's a 400-meter run, and then 15 overhead squats, 95, 65. So we like to use Nancy as a classic benchmark. That way we can test where your fitness level is at and then see how you improve and retest the same workout over and over again over time to see how you do. So the at-home variations, if you don't have a barbell, are going to be holding 2 dumbbells up in the air over your head and doing double dumbbell overhead lunges. We're going to change that number from 15 to 16, and we're going to keep the runs the same. So it's still 5 rounds for time. Now it's 16 for the 400-meter run and 16 overhead lunges. If we're going to scale that, we're going to switch it up to single arm overhead with either a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or a ruck. We can use any of those. We'll switch the rep scheme around a little bit just because it's a little lighter, and you'll do half on one side before you switch over to the other side to do half on the other side. But they're all good. So on this workout, the first round is really just a trap. So usually, especially you're starting with a run, usually any long workout like this, fastest people will get it done probably in 12-ish minutes, and then we're going to throw a 22-minute time cap on this one. But the first run, and then really the first set of lunges or the overhead squats, it's really not that big of a deal. The lunges get hard towards the end of the set for sure, but since you're so fresh, this workout doesn't really hit you until you start that second run. And about a quarter of the way into that second run, you have that oh crap moment where you start to realize how much work you've got left, what it already feels like, and so you know what it's going to feel like. So this is where you just have to rely on your experience, especially if you've done 5K time trial runs, or you've done a lot of workouts like this in the 12 to 20 minute range. What you realize is that you're way more fit and powerful, and your cardio is way better than you think it is. And things start to feel really bad really early, but I know I always surprise myself with the pace I'm able to maintain if I'm just mentally willing to deal with it. So I think a big part of this one strategy-wise is just don't fall into the first round trap. Come out smooth, really focus on breathing. You'll get sick of hearing me say it, but don't wait until you're out of breath to start breathing like you're out of breath. So start the run, start the lunges, which is the heavy priority on getting air in and breathing. And then just know, somewhere in that second round, it's going to hit you how much you're going to have to work for this one. You just have to mentally be ready for it, and you just have to keep pushing the pace. And, we're not sprinting this one, but usually you can maintain a much faster pace than you give yourself credit for. So you just have to keep that in the forefront of your mind. So if we need to scale the runs down, if you have faster than a 7.5 minute mile, then the 400 meters each time is going to be a good distance for you. If you're in the 7.5 to 10 minute range, probably alternating 400s and 200s each round is going to be the way to go. And then if you're a 10 plus minute mile person, then let's stick with 200s, and that'll keep the paces that we want to develop that running over time where we need them. Then with the lunges, if you're doing the barbell, single dumbbell, double dumbbell, kettlebell, ruck, all that stuff, it's kind of just wing it. If you're kind of in the range where we should be able to go unbroken. But this one is a lot of cardio, so another decent strategy is going to be breaking up the overhead stuff, the lunges and the overhead squats, into 2 sets. So something like 8 and 7 or 8 and 8, or depending on what the rep scheme is. 2 sets usually works pretty well for people. So technique-wise, whenever you're holding things overhead, just act like shoulders back. We're creating that same shoulder position that we would in the push-up. With the dumbbells, you'll see it in my first round. I was holding the dumbbells right in the middle like I would on almost everything else. And it wasn't until the second run where I remembered that to help that overhead position, the further you can get the weight back behind you, the easier it is going to be to balance that stuff. So I started holding the dumbbells with my pinky all the way back against the head of the dumbbell. That way, when I held it overhead, more of the weight got behind me, and it really made that overhead position a lot easier. So technique-wise, that's a little kind of trick that we can do. And then really the most difficult part, besides how physically hard this is just keeping that belly button drawn into the spine on the overhead squats or overhead lunges. One way we can compensate for a tired or restricted overhead position is by overextending that back, and one of the first places to go is that low back. So yeah, I really, especially at the bottom of the lunges, but even when I'm doing the overhead squat variation, it's the same thing. I really have to focus on this one to draw my belly button in, and it is a little more work, but in the long run and the longevity of things, it's what we got to do. So take the little bit extra time, maybe go a little slower, give yourself that one extra breath of rest before you get that set started. Really put that focus on drawing the belly button in. All right, well, it's a fun one. Make sure you write your times down so you have something to retest later on. Hope you enjoy it. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.